Good morning, Algebra 1 students. Here today to talk about our next lesson. It's lesson 8.2, and the big idea is textbook. We're going to do some more graphing, but we're going to graph things that look like this. Maybe. Hold on. All right, here we go. Yesterday, we talked about what to do with a graph like this, same as y equals ax squared. But today, we're going to deal with c. You see here, I have a lovely graph here, so I don't have to draw ugly graphs anymore. Well, not as ugly, coordinate planes at least. So this is what we're going to work on graphing today. Yesterday, when we had just the ax squared, we talked about the graph getting wider. We talked about the graph getting skinnier. We talked about if there was a negative sign, that flipped it over the x-axis. And so today we're going to add c. And that's going to do something a little bit different to our graph. Yesterday we said that the a multiplied the y values by the same number. Well, I hope it's obvious because it says plus c, but that is going to add or subtract numbers from all the y values, okay? So I want to start off with our good old y equals x squared, okay, and what that graph looks like. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me do that a little more carefully now that we have an actual coordinate plane, right? 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, and then negative 1, 1, negative 2, 4, and negative 3, 9, right? We have to have this symmetry, right? Across here, and across here. And then, of course, the vertex goes down here through 0, 0. And I'm going to draw this with a dotted line so we don't get it confused with our regular graph as well as I can here. Okay, so that is y equals x squared. So now if we were going to draw something like y equals x squared plus 2, okay, that's going to add 2 to every y value. Okay, my axis of symmetry will not change right here, but this y value of 0 is now going to be moved up to 2. And this y value of 1 is going to be moved up to 3. And this y value of 4 is going to be moved up to 6. And the y value of 9 is going to be up here at 11. We won't really get to that. And then we have our symmetry. So we got to have a point over here, point over here, and we won't be able to see that other point. Okay, and then we can draw our graph. Try to make it as smooth a curve as we can. Okay, but if you notice the original graph, everything's now moved up to. Okay, and that is the kind of thing that we're going to be graphing today. Our axis of symmetry would not change, right? But our vertex went from 0, 0 to 0, 2, right? Our increasing and our decreasing wouldn't change. Our domain would not change, right? We'd still be all real numbers. But what happens to our range? Normally, our range would be, for our normal graph, y is greater than or equal to 0. But now that we have moved everything up to, the actual range is y is greater than or equal to 2. And there's the start of our day. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. Let's look at a couple more examples. Okay. Let's say, well, let's just do f of x is equal to x squared minus 3. Okay. So what's that minus 3 gonna do? Well, it's gonna move it down 3. Why down? Well, because it's a minus 3. Okay, so now our vertex is going to be here, and we're going to have these points here and here, right? And we can draw our graph through those points. Okay, same basic shape, everything. So the plus or the minus simply slides or translates the graph up or down. Okay, nothing too different there. All right, now what we're going to do from this point is hold on one second. Okay, what we're going to do is now we're going to combine what we did yesterday with what we did today. Okay, so let's start off just to show you. Where's 2, 4 right there? Okay, there's our x squared graph, roughly. Okay, so just to keep that in mind. So now let's graph something like y equals negative 2x squared plus 4. Oops, forgot my squared. Okay, so we actually have 3 things going on here, right? We have a negative sign. What's that do? That's right, flips it. We have a 2, right? That's a vertical stretch. And we have the plus 4, which is going to move it up 4. Okay? Okay, so let's look at what each one of those does. Remember, our black graph here is our normal graph. Okay, so we would flip it, and I'm going to do this one in a dotted line. Actually, I'll do it in a different color so you can see it, maybe. Okay, it would flip it upside down, right? If that's all there was. Okay, but we're also going to move everything up 4. So our vertex, which is right here at 0, 0, is now going to move up here to 4. Okay. Now, what else is happening is because there's going to be a vertical stretch. Remember, that means it's going to be skinnier. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. Okay. Now, I'm not really that concerned if you get it exact. Okay, as long as you know that the vertex is going to move up to 4, and it's flipped upside down, and it looks skinnier, like my graph here does. Now, we do have to answer a couple of questions about this. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at the domain. What's the domain? Always all real numbers. Okay, but the range, remember we talked about this yesterday, has to do with the vertex. The vertex is up here at 4, and the graph is going down on both sides, right? So my range is going to be y is less than or equal, because it's going down, positive 4, which has a lot to do with that number right there. Okay, so how about what's happening as x, this might be a little confusing, but what happens as x is getting closer to 0? We'd say that the graph y is increasing in this direction and decreasing in that direction. Okay, if you don't happen to get that last part, not a big deal. As long as you know to flip it, move it up 4, make it skinnier, we're going to be in good shape. Okay, so you can use that example to help you get through things. Now, let's do one more, and then we'll be good for today's lesson, I hope. Okay, so let's do f of x, which is the same as y, is equal to 1/4 x squared minus, what do we want to go down? Let's go down like 6. Okay, so no big deal. Go down here to 6. Okay, actually I'll change colors for you. Go down here 6, but what's going to happen? It's going to get wider. Now, normally it would go right through here, right? It goes through here and it would go through here, but now it's only going to be 1/4 of that. Okay, so look at how wide that's going to get. All right, something like that. Something like that. Okay, so I made it wider and I dropped it down. Okay, what's the domain? All real numbers. What's the range? Well, look at the y values. Here's my vertex. It's not going to go below 6, a -6. It's only going to be above -6. So I'm going to say y is greater than or equal, because that's above -6. Okay? And that's kind of like a G. Sorry. All right. So again, I want to emphasize that you guys can email me anytime. If you have a specific question, make sure you get into that big ideas off of your Clever login and get to the next assignment, which I'm going to put up there right now. And that's about it. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.